All right, welcome everybody to a special edition of the Understanding Behavior live stream. I've got Sarah Burby here from Mind Body Behavior, and we are going to be talking about ABA roles outside of autism. How's everybody feeling tonight? Sarah, how are you? Yeah, she's frozen. Oh no. Uh-oh, looks like we're having some technical difficulties here. We'll get this sorted out. All right, it looks like she's back. Sarah, how are you?
I'm here. I'm back.
All right, there she is. Awesome. Well, so glad to have you on the channel. This is going to be really fun. I know that you're super passionate about this topic. This is a topic that I'm super passionate about too. So I think we're going to have a really fun conversation, and hopefully our audience here enjoys it as well.
Heck yes. Let's go.
All right, yeah, looks like people are feeling pumped in the chat. Hell yeah. Well, yeah, let's get this rolling right away. So, if somebody's interested in like they are a BCBA or they are an RBT and like they've gotten like some of their education done towards this already, but they're like, "Wait, maybe this autism job isn't quite right for me." Like, what would you suggest or like where do you even start for the if you were this person?
I love this question so much. And I feel like everybody on this live is probably like thinking the same thing, right? Of like, I have been told a million times that ABA can be used anywhere, but like, where's the roadmap? Where do I start? Right. And so, my first question to all the girls that I work with, to anybody that asks me this question is like, close your eyes and just ask yourself, like, what do you want to do? I know that sounds so simple, but think about now what you're supposed to do as a BCBA. What lights you up? What makes you excited? What setting makes you excited to work in, or the possibility of working in that setting? Because I think from there, you can kind of work backwards, right? And be like, okay, I really see myself working in X, Y, or Z setting. And then we can talk about different ways you could find jobs in that setting. We can create a job in that setting. That's exactly how I got into health coaching. Like that's
Yeah.
literally how I got into what I'm doing, is because I reverse engineered what I saw myself like that was my ideal job.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, there might be a lot of people in the audience that aren't familiar with you. Do you want to tell everybody like a little bit about what you do?
Oh, sure. I'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
So I am a BCBA and board certified health coach. So I've been a BCBA since 2015. I worked in the traditional setting. I worked in private school, public school, home, clinic, all the settings. I really liked working in the school setting the most. I love being a school consult, but I wanted more. I remember being in grad school in 2011, a long time ago, being like, ABA can be applied anywhere, right? And at the time, I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't know who to connect with that was working outside of the traditional, quote unquote, traditional setting. And so I worked in the traditional setting for many years, but I had like that pull or like that urge, like I want to do something different. I want to use this skill set in a different way. How do I do that? And so then I started coaching. I went through a board approved coaching program. I got my health coaching certification. And then I slowly worked less and less at my school job. I built up my coaching business. And then I was like, this is it. Like, I'm never going back to the traditional setting. I freaking love what I'm doing. And then so I built that up. And then we now have a board approved coaching program. We have a supervision program outside of autism. So we really, mind body behavior, our mission is to help disseminate the science outside of autism.
Yeah, it's amazing. And like when you were in grad school, and so like did you feel like you knew right away that like you weren't gonna do autism forever, or were you like kind of on that path where like, hey, like this is really where the only jobs are? Like, did you feel stuck, or did you find that like, hey, maybe there is another way early on?
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I actually did it backwards. I got my BCBA certification and then I went back and got my teaching cert, right? At the time in New Jersey, if you wanted to be a BCBA in a public school, you needed your teaching cert. And I knew I wanted to work in the school setting. Um, but my mom was a teacher, my dad was a principal. So like I had the ideal job, Nick. Like it was like
Yeah.
good, right? I was working for a public school. I was set. I had all the things that you're supposed to have as a school employee. And it wasn't even that I was burnt out. I just wanted to do more. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I had this pull in my heart, and I know it sounds very corny, that I wanted to do more with the science, and I knew there was more that we could do. And so I just was so passionate, maybe a little bit stubborn, however you want to word it, in figuring out how I could get there. And then once I figured it out, I was like, I want to teach everybody this. I want to pour into everybody else on how you get, whether it's health coaching, whether it's whatever your dream is, like, how can I help you get to that end goal?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and like my story like is a little bit different because like I was really like a person who fell in love with behavior analysis, where like a lot of BCBAs come in, they're like, I love working with the kids and I love like working with autistic individuals. And like, don't get me wrong, I loved my experience of doing all of that work. It's super rewarding and like definitely made some really positive impact on tons of people's lives.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really my passion. And like, I was like feeling burnt out, and I actually knew in grad school that like, hey, I'm gonna maybe work autism for a couple years, but I need to figure something else out.
Yeah.
And I knew or like I got the opportunity to teach some classes like during my grad program. So I taught like the intro to behavior analysis class, and then I just like got hooked on like teaching and like just
Yeah.
spreading like how cool like behavior analysis is. I'm like, all right, it took me several years to like figure out the path. They're like, okay, this actually get this independence and like have my passion.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been so worth it in the end. And
Totally.
and yeah, like I hopefully we can empower a bunch of other like behaviorally focused people to really just find their own path and take charge.
Totally. Totally. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Well, um, so so let's go back to that initial question. So if we have like a person who's like, okay, maybe I want to do something else, but I'm already a BCBA, like where should they start? And like what should they look at? So I know you mentioned a little bit about like just like what do you like to do, but how do we go deeper into that?
Yeah, I think once you figure out like what is your ideal setting, where do you want to work? I think a big thing that I see in the women that I help that are BCBs trying to kind of transition to different areas is like even just keywords to search on like LinkedIn or on Indeed or something like that. Whatever job site you look for. I know OBM, for example, is one, right? So it's like, I want to work in OBM. How do I get a job as a BCBA in OBM? Well, you're probably not searching the right keywords, right? If you search BCBA in OBM, nothing's going to come up on the job search, right? But if you know those keywords, OBM is not my strong suit, so I can't give examples of keywords there, right? Maybe that was a bad example, but it's keywords that you search in. I was just looking on LinkedIn before our call of like health coaching jobs, right? But it doesn't say BCBA/health coach. It says MBHWC, or it'll say behavior change, or it'll say data driven, or it'll say understanding of behavior. So it's like knowing which keywords you want to look into for different settings, and then your mind is going to be blown on what it actually is out there. It just might not say BCBA in the job title, but you're still doing behavior analysis, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great tip for everybody. So, like, if you are looking for these other jobs, like, just don't expect to see BCBA in the job title at all. And it doesn't necessarily mean that like your certification like wasn't important. It just might not
No.
be like totally necessary, but like the skills that you learn as a BCBA are going to be totally applicable to a bunch of other jobs. Um,
Yes,
I
totally.
remember like when I was like looking at jobs too, like I was really interested in instructional design. So I was looking at jobs like related to instructional design as my keywords and also to training because there's a lot of overlap between those. Um, so let's say like somebody is like looking to be like into the like the health coaching space. Like what would be some keywords that you would recommend for them to search there? And if anybody in chat like wants to like give their direction, maybe we can help you
Yes.
identify like some good keywords of like things to search in those for those jobs too.
Yes, let's do it live. That'd be so fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think for health coaching, definitely like health related behavior change, data driven, understanding of motivation. I mean, you could search for health coach as well, but now the health coaching field is still a new field. So now most companies are looking for the MBHWC, the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching certificate. That is the other, my opinion, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this opinion, is if we went to grad school and we only got our training in the autism setting, in the autism space, we might have to go back and get additional training if we want to work outside of that setting, right? It doesn't have to be the health coaching training, but we might have to go back and get a little bit more training on where we want to go. Doesn't mean we have to get a whole nother master's degree, right? But we might need just another little something so we get competent in that area. And that could also potentially open up positions. I know we spent thousands and thousands on our master's degree, and hearing that probably makes a lot of people like want to cry, right? And there's really good programs out there. There's really awful programs out there, right? So like obviously do your due diligence. Is it actually going to help you get to that job, or is it just going to be another certification that you rack up just for the sake of a certification? But that's something to consider too, depending on where you want to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really cool, especially in this day and age, is that you can learn, there's so many free resources out there to
Yes.
learn really quality skills. Like,
Yes.
this one's like a little bit more old school, like these days, I guess. But even just going on YouTube and like watching some experts, like you can learn so much just from YouTube. But nowadays, with like AI and Claude and ChatGPT and all of these other AI tools, you can just learn anything, especially if you're like somebody who can learn on their own and has like that
Yeah,
motivation. And if it's something you love, hopefully like that motivation will come naturally. But there's like never
totally.
been a better time to like teach yourself new skills, because all of the resources are available to you. And it's just a little bit of like sifting through that.
Totally. Get a little Claude project going, put in some stuff in there.
Hell yeah. No, Claude is amazing. Like, I don't know how I would do that without Claude these days.
Oh, so true.
All right, so we got a few people in chat that have like put their interest in here. So we have a couple of more people that are interested in OBM. Do you have any ideas of like what you might search for OBM? I
Yeah,
have some
so
too, but I want to see what you have.
I would think OBM would be more, again, this is not my area of expertise, unfortunately, guys, but I would look for more of usually those that I've seen OBM roles are more like leadership and training. So they'll look
Hmm.
for like yeah, they'll say something about leadership. So you'll come or it's not staff training. It's yeah, I guess I've seen like leadership positions in for OBM.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like employee performance, employee retention, those are some keywords that I would put in there.
Yeah, I think those are good ones, like employee performance and employee retention. And a lot of that goes under another umbrella term, that's people ops or people operations. That's a really
Mm,
good term to search if you're interested in like those OBM jobs.
yeah.
Um, I know a lot of people like to point to like Google as like it's like one of the best places to work, but like their people ops program has like thousands of employees in it. It's crazy like
Mm.
how much weight they put in that. And obviously it's grown them into a very successful company. So I think like that would be a really good term to search. As well as like training. If you're interested in training, I think that would be a really good way to go down there.
Yeah,
um
this
we
is
have a couple
irrelevant,
people.
but kind of relevant to BCBs. But I actually have a friend in New Jersey that is not a BCBA. She does like yoga, meditation, sound bowls, things like that. She's coming to our retreat, and she told me that in the last year, she like literally cannot keep up. She cannot hire fast enough because companies are hiring her and her team to come in and do team wellness days. And they're now picking up that like wellness is not just a pizza party on a Friday. Like, thanks everybody. Like, they're actually hiring people to come in and work on staff wellness throughout the year, which is really cool. So maybe that might be something else that B analysts might want to look into of how they can help lead the wellness program at an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And like how do you think like BCBA skills could like relate to the like those wellness skills? Like how do you think like people could leverage that skill set in that space?
My gosh, so much, right? Like help
Yeah.
tap into employees' motivation, right? What are their goals, right? What are the employees' goals? How can they get there? I used to do actually, I forget. I'm sure you feel like this too, Nick, on your journey where you did things when you first started it. Like I kind of forgot that I did that. I used to do an employee wellness coaching for ABA companies in New Jersey, and I would meet with their team for like 12 weeks. I would meet with them for like 20 minutes, and we would do mini health coaching sessions, right? And it was, what did I do with them? We were looking at okay, what is important to you? What are your values? What is a behavior that you want to change? And how can I help you get there? But they came up with the goals. They came up with how they're going to collect data. And we just checked in on that every 12 weeks. And then if they wanted to have me back for another 12 weeks, they could. But if they didn't, that was okay too. But we understand human behavior so well, right? And we kind of forget that we know it so well, because most people don't know behavior how we know behavior, and we know so much that we kind of forget how much we know, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting, like jumping into a new space, like can almost like remind you of like, oh wait, I know a lot about behavior because you're surrounded by people that maybe don't know as much about behavior,
Yes.
that's where you like really need to show off your skill sets and show like, hey, I have valuable things to provide for this company, and
Yes. I actually had a trainee. She was or is a health coach, and she went back to school to become a BCBA, right? And part of her hours with us, she was going through and she looked, number one, we redid the whole company's scorecards because how they were um, providing bonuses to staff, it was so subjective that it was not measurable at all. So we're like, all right, we got to ramp this up. We got to make it measurable. What behaviors are they engaging in? How are we going to, what is it 3? What is it 2? Like we were going all in on that. And then she also went through and was able to like increase staff performance other health coaches, because speaking of AI, in the health coaching space, they were in online coaching, and they did virtual coaching, like chat-based coaching and coaching like this. And a lot of the staff was just copying and pasting the AI responses instead of like tweaking them and adding personal
mm,
touches and questions related to the client. So part of her role, even though she was a health coach, she was taking on, I guess, maybe that would be more OBM. I don't even know what you would call that, but she used behavior skills training, worked with those health coaches, helped them come up with, okay, number one, what is a barrier, right? What is it? Is it that you don't know what to say in that session? Is it easier? Is it too much pressure that you have too many clients on your caseload that you can't take time? Like that's all stuff that her company is like world was rocked. They were like, how did you know how to do that? Right. And then she was
yeah.
able to use BST, and then she trained other people on her team how to do that with their team. She was a supervisor. And the clients reported they were happier, they stayed longer, and ultimately it made the company more money, right? If you make a company more money, they're going to be very happy to have you, right?
Absolutely. I think that's going to be like second key take home point here is like if you can make a company or a person more money, they will want you to work for them.
Yes.
So find the ways that like you can leverage your skill set towards that,
Yep.
and I guess like some examples of that is like if we're working in schools, like like teacher retention is a huge issue in
Totally.
schools, and think about like how much it costs to like find, hire, and train a new teacher. It's
Yep.
like a ridiculous amount of money. So if you can like save schools money on that, then you're in really good shape. If we're looking at like more private companies, even just like working on turnover rates of like any high turnover job would be like a really great place to focus on. um
Employee retention or having employee turnover is expensive, and it's frustrating for the person that is in charge, right? It's annoying and it's expensive.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I guess that kind of leads in. We had a question submitted before this where we were people were asking about like how do we get jobs that are kind of like in autism but not necessarily like clinician jobs. And I think that is actually a really good place to kind of start off with is like we know RBT turnover rates are ridiculous. Like I don't know like the hard numbers, but I can't imagine like the average RBT stays in a position like more than 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So that would be a really great place to focus on is if you can like just increase quality of life for RBTs in a company, that would be a like an amazing place to start. And if you can just do that and like show that you have that skill, then you can kind of
Yep.
like create the position for yourself even if it doesn't exist yet. um
Totally.
but what other suggestions would you have for people that are maybe like burnout in clinician life, but still want to like work in that realm of like autism centers?
Yeah, I think coaching or consulting, I guess, however you want to call it. Like, so some of the women, I keep saying girls, some of the women that were in our coaching program, they did our program and they were like, I don't really want to leave this setting. I just don't want to do what I'm doing in this setting anymore. So, what you were saying, they literally just created positions at their company What's the worst that can happen? They ask if they could take on this new role. The worst that can happen is they say no, and then maybe they go somewhere else. The best that can happen, that's my life motto. What's the best that can happen, right? And the best that
Yep.
can happen is they say yes, and they're literally creating positions for them. So she does more of a training type role where she goes in and she looks at the quote unquote low performers instead of being like, oh, Sarah's not cutting it. What is Sarah doing wrong? She can't stay around. She meets with them, uses MI and says, okay, what are the barriers? How can we help? What can we do to prevent this? What supports do you need? And then again, back to money, it's saving time, it's saving money, and everybody's happier. Everyone wants to come to work. The environment's better. The vibe is better, right? So it's having that confidence, I guess, to ask for the job that you want, create the job that you want. Maybe you do it part time at first to have your proof of concept, right? And then you can go in and say, look, this is working. These are results that we're getting. We're behavior analysts. We know how to collect data. We know how to show what we're doing is working. And then you bring that and then you do a little bit more, a little bit more. And there's your position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important to like if that is the route that you're going to go down, like having that confidence in your pitch and
Yeah.
then like just being able to show that ability and bring some data to them. Like those are the things that are like really going to be convincing. It's just like knowing that you can do it, believing in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else is going to believe in you. um,
Totally.
and
Totally.
then like if you can just get started on the work and maybe if it's not even like a paid project at first, or maybe it's like, hey, can you like pay me a minimal rate to like do a little bit of this work and like can I show you like how awesome I am at it, or like how much we
Yeah.
can get done.
Yeah.
um yeah, I think that's a great place to start.
And I
um
think it's also too, if you want to stay in a clinic, I think that sometimes people think that if they're not working in a clinic or a school or the more quote unquote traditional setting, it's like, why did we all get attracted to this field? My guess is because we all want to help, right? That's why I got into this field, is I wanted to help other people. And even though I don't work in the traditional setting anymore, I get to, it is so rewarding the job that I do, health coaching. Like I freaking love it because I get to help people and I get to make an impact. And like that's the why for me, right? And so we can help people. Socially significant behavior change can occur outside of autism. So we can still help if that is our why. Another one of our trainees works in a domestic violence shelter, right? She accrued her hours. She has no desire to leave. She's staying at that shelter, but now she has this different skill set. To your point, can start different programs. Now she's doing an ACT-based group for that shelter, right? She's bringing ideas and saying, here's what I learned in my master's. Here's what I want to do, right? So I just think we have to kind of come back to, okay, what is our bigger why? Probably a lot of us want to help. And then how can we help in different areas?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And just a reminder for all of our audience here. So we're going to be taking live questions towards the end of this stream. So probably in the next like half an hour or so. If you have any questions, we dropped a link in the description below. So you can submit your questions there. Or also we have a QR code on screen and you can submit questions there and we'll get to them in about half an hour when like we're getting to the second part of our stream. But yeah, we've got a great crowd here. We've got like 85 people here still with us. Are you guys enjoying the stream so far? Let's see some chat.
I hope so.
Heck yeah, I know we're dropping some big nuggets here, so hopefully they're collecting them and taking them in. Cool. Yeah, I'm just checking out a couple other things here. Sweet. Yeah, people are liking it. We're getting the hearts flowing in chat. They're going. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Um, cool. Well, so we talked a bit about like finding positions or even like trying to like find a way to get like hired by a company. But what do you think about like just the entrepreneur life? So, I mean, like both of us have taken on that crazy journey with all of its ups and downs. But like tell me a little bit about like your experience as an entrepreneur, and especially like your early experience. Like what was it like just like not really knowing like where like mind body behavior was going to go, and like what that felt like, and what like made you like do take that push to commit to it?
Yeah, it was wild. And honestly, my business started as Small Changes Coaching. So it was a different business name to start. And my final push was I actually wanted to incorporate more coaching into the company that I was working for. And they were like, well, I don't know if coaching would really work. Right. And I was like, well, I'm going to show you. Because again, I'm stubborn. And I was like, I know this could work. And so I actually quit my full-time job. This is not professional advice here. I quit my full-time job after I had my son, and I was like 4 months postpartum, and I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm stubborn. I want to be my own boss. I honestly kind of always knew I wanted to be my own boss and be an entrepreneur because I like things done my way. And so I just didn't know when that was going to happen. And it's wild and it's crazy. And I think just knowing that your original idea is probably not the idea that's going to make your business like take off, right? And so being open and being just constantly going with the flow, right? I am very type A. It is very hard for me to go with the flow. I like routine, I like structure. And when you are building a business, like there's no routine, there's no structure, right? You just kind of gotta like go with the flow, keep learning, keep trying different things. But I will never go back to not being an entrepreneur. I love it so much. I love having the time freedom, the location freedom, the financial freedom. And that is, I truly believe again in my heart that is possible for anybody that wants that journey for themselves. Then that's why I pour so much into my community on the entrepreneur side of things, because I didn't have that. I paid a lot of money for my business coaching, like a lot of money to learn from someone. And I know most people are not insane like I was to put all that money up front, because you're kind of just going to figure it out once you invest in that person. So like I love coaching upcoming entrepreneurs because I have the playbooks. Like I'll tell you exactly what to do, what not to do. Like I've done it. I've been there in the beginning. And I think the beginning, I don't know how you feel about this, Dick, but for me, the beginning was the hardest part because it's a lot of grind with not a lot of reinforcement. Yeah. And then once you figure out the secret sauce, the reinforcement comes. But in the beginning, it's hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was very hard for me at the beginning too. Like or I guess even reminding before understanding behavior was test prep. Like I had a different idea at first for understanding behavior. I was like, I just want to be like the Neil deGrasse Tyson of behavior analysis was kind of like my goal. And this was inspired by one of my professors like in grad school like 9 years ago. We're just like, what's one of the problems with behavior analysis? It's like we don't have like a spokesperson or like somebody that gets people excited about the science. So I'm like, I want to be that person. So like I spent a bunch on like nice cameras and like all this production gear to like film these YouTube videos, and I spent like so long on these scripts and everything. And I made, I think maybe like 8 different videos that were like pretty like high effort. And we ended up getting like 100 subscribers on the channel. And like, this is going nowhere. I need to make money. This is not doing it. So like first idea for understanding behavior, total flop. And and I think it is important to remind people that like when you're taking that entrepreneurial journey, like your first idea probably isn't going to be the good one. So then I was like, okay, like I had a lot of experience with test prep. I love teaching test prep because it's teaching behavior analysis, and like there is a route to get to like make money here. So let's do it. But I mean, like the first parts of understanding behavior, the test prep side of it, I already had 5 years of experience of teaching test prep, and I was really good at it. But I mean, I had to start off by just like giving my time away. I was like on Facebook groups, I'm like, who wants to book a free 30-minute tutoring session with me? I'm like just like trying to get anybody to sign up, because like I didn't really like have that credibility at the time. And even though I was like really good at it, it's like it was a grind. And like just like you mentioned, it was just like lots of time, not a lot of reinforcement, but that that effort does like accumulate and snowball on itself. And like it will come if you're good at it, have a good plan, and stay consistent.
Totally. And it's like, I don't know, have you seen that meme where it's like, don't give up, and like the next step is like the end, right? Like they're so close, and most people give up right towards the end, where it's like if you just kept going a little bit longer, you would get to the top of the mountain.
For sure. I think that's really like the biggest like everyday struggle for an entrepreneur is just like that next level is really close, but like you do have to keep pushing. And and also to like reinvent the strategy as you continue on.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a worthwhile journey. I see a couple of people in chat are saying like I like want to do my own thing, and we've got Jessica here actually said she just had her baby and she wants to branch out and do something different. So
Jessica, drop the ideas in the chat. Let's get you a business plan tonight.
Yeah, right. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let's do it. We've got E Hall here is also saying like I want to open a private practice that focuses on behaviors outside of autism. My background's in child development and special education, like a private practice that provides behavioral solutions. Absolutely.
Wait, this is so good. Let's keep doing this. This is so good because when you do that, right, your marketing messaging is to the parent or the caregiver, right? A lot of people don't know how to market. We're so good at behavior change. I feel like we talked about this at some point, Nick. We're so good at behavior change, but we don't know how to talk about our services to somebody that doesn't understand behavior change, right? We don't know how to talk about it in a non-behavioral way. It's like, what is the simplest way that you can get your message across of here's why you should hire me. Here's how I help you, right?
Absolutely.
This is how I make your life better through this service.
Yes, and like dropping the jargon, because like only we understand like the jargon when we're talking like behavior analyst to behavior analyst. But even then, like you want to like get your point across simply, and like and like I would say like if you're to focus on like any like general skill to just like get better at like doing what you want, it's just like being able to communicate really clearly and simply. And I see like that's how understanding behaviors have gotten so successful, is like I take all these technical terms and like I'm able to package them in really like simple ways. And like I would say like it's one like key skill to work on. Like if you're struggling like just communicating, just always think about like, hey, how can I like communicate it more simply, or and like really aim for like that 5th grade reading level. And like it might sound like you're oversimplifying, or if you're like talking to people with like master's or doctorate degrees, like they want to hear fancy language, but they really don't. Like the simple sells.
Yes. And I even tell people like, they're like, oh, do you like on your website, you don't even say that you're a BCBA? I'm like, because my health coaching clients do not give a flying F that I'm a BCBA. They don't. They hear nothing about my credentials. All they care about is I can help them reach their goal, right? So I don't need to tell them my master's degrees, my this, my that. They don't care. They just care that I can help them. I can solve their problem, whatever health related wellness problem that they're having. So I think like, again, it's so hard for us because we're proud of that. It was a hard work getting our master's degree. It was a hard work getting our BCBA certification, right? We want to like shout it from the rooftops anytime we can. But I think if we just get really good, like you said, simple, what problem do we solve? How can we deliver that? Even if you're taking, like we said, going to a business owner and saying, here's my idea. This is the problem that it's solving, right? I think about my husband is an accountant. If he says any accountant jargon to me, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just stop, right? Like I can't. Yeah. That's how we saw we were talking about behavior analysis.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just like being able to communicate simply. And I love that point of just like, it's more about what you can do rather than who you are. Like nobody cares who you are if you can't solve their problems.
Totally.
So it's just like keeping that really the focus is like so key if you're like trying to do your own thing and like create your own products and design something.
And once you know that, right, it's like, I know this is not a business lie, but I can't help myself because I get so excited. I want to teach everybody these skills, right? It's like now anytime you watch an ad or a commercial or anything, like a commercial on TV, an ad, and you look at it, you're like, okay, wow, there was some sort of, they were connecting to me in some sort of emotion, right? They were trying to make that connection and solving a certain problem for me. Like I always give the example of like Jif peanut butter, right? It's like, mom's like, you choose Jif. Oh, if I'm a good mom, I'm going to buy Jif peanut butter, right? That kind of pulls on my heartstring, right? And like that's solving, like it's just knowing how to market yourself for a particular product.
Yeah, I love that. Like advertising is just like behavior analysis on a larger scale. It's just like, okay, what are like most of my audience going to respond to?
Yes.
And like you can find like these cool little behavioral challenges in whatever you're doing. And that's been like a really exciting part of like the entrepreneurial journey. It's just like finding new ways that I can use these skill sets to like not just at the individual level, but at a more like global level. It's been really fun.
How can we use behavior analysis to build our email list? Like that should be a CEO, right? How can we use behavior analysis to, there's like so much in it in everyday life, right? It's just figuring it out how to implement it in these different sectors.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's turn to chat for a sec. We've got Lauren in chat is saying, like, what if you failed multiple attempts and you want to leave the field? Do you have any other suggestions for work with 10 years of ABA experience?
Yes. So that was Lauren. Sorry, I can't see.
Yeah, that was Lauren Ingram.
Lauren, what interests you, or what do you like to do?
Yeah, I think that's just the best place to start. Is just like what lights you up, like what gets you going. And it might just be like one part of like what your job is right now. It might not just be, or if you're like looking to leave the field, there might be something about like working with the kids that does like really light you up. So like find what that is, and then you can kind of like do some research and a little bit of like discovery of like, okay, like what other jobs will also provide like that reinforcer that just lights me up.
Yeah, some of the coolest behavior analysts that I know are not actually behavior analysts. I know I shouldn't say that, but like they have masters in behavior analysis. They didn't actually sit for the exam, number one, because the exam didn't exist at their degree, or they just decided not to sit for the exam for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't want to have to follow the BCBA guidelines or whatever it is. But like, I have a really good friend that has a master's degree in behavior analysis, and she has like thriving social skills clinic. Thriving. She does
That's
all
awesome.
net. She does like, it's just the coolest thing ever, right? So like, I think that's the other thing too. Just because you're not a BCBA, you can't call yourself a behavior analyst, right? But you can still use behavior analysis. If you have your master's degree in behavior analysis, you still know the science. Just because you didn't pass the test, okay, maybe you can't call yourself a BCBA, but Lauren, you still know the science. You still have that experience. So like, if you want to leave the field, and like, that's your decision, but don't give yourself credit for all the knowledge that you have and how you can apply that to other settings. Maybe you don't have that credential to work in insurance or something, but you still have a lot of knowledge that you can use.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that point too. Like one of my favorite, like, I don't know, like taglines that I hear around is just like, there are a lot of behavior analysts that aren't BCBAs, and there's a lot of BCBAs that aren't behavior analysts too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like it really is a skill set, and if you have that skill set to work with, like there are so many different ways to apply it, and some of it just takes like opening your mind of like what is possible. I feel
Yes.
like a lot of BCBAs, they kind of get stuck where they're just like, oh, I have this certification, really like the certification like allows me to bill insurance for autism, and that's like all I can really do. But really, like sky's the limit on what you can do.
Totally.
Um and honestly, like, we need people who are doing other things outside of autism, because like we have a science of behavior. It's powerful. And like right now we're really stuck in autism. It doesn't make you a bad person for not wanting to do it. You just and we need like the courageous people to like venture out there and do other things with this with these skills and this credential.
Totally. Totally. And there's so many things, right? You could do um like you can work on sleep. We can work on there's so many different things. And it's like, again, so sometimes it's too many choices. It's like, okay, how I narrow it down, but it's like, okay, what did you like in grad school? What populations do you like working with or learning about, and applying it in those different settings? And the more people that do this, like our community is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And like my wish is that 10 years from now, it's like, oh, I don't work in the non-traditional setting. And that's just like, okay, everyone works in this setting. It's not just, we stop including ABA in autism, hopefully in the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really hope we do, because like we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need it. Like our world needs help. The world needs our skill sets, and
Yes.
obviously like the autism community definitely needs us too. But there is so much potential of like what behavior analysts can do that like we just need to get out there, and it's going to take courageous people to do that. And hopefully like we've been good models for like the next generation of behavior analysts, and like hopefully we can inspire at least one person to kind of like take a leap or try something new, or like get into a new role tonight.
Totally, totally. And if anyone needs a good pep talk, I am your girl. I will amp you up that you could do it.
Hell yeah. So yeah, follow Sarah on Instagram, send her a DM if like any of this is resonating with you.
I'll voice note you a pep talk.
She's got you. See, it's recorded on the internet forever now, so she can't deny it. Love it, love it, love it. Cool. Well, I know you had a couple tools to share with everybody tonight too on like how like some exercises to get them through here. Yeah, can we pull up like the future self diagnosis exercise, Cody? And then, yeah, Sarah, I want you to kind of run us through this. If you want to get access to this, there's a link in the description for this video. So just scroll down on YouTube and click that if you want to get access to this. But yeah, Sarah's going to walk us through this. And I think it's going to be a really helpful tool for a lot of people here.
Yes. Do you want me to start now?
Yeah, okay. Looks like Cody just got it up here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is one of my favorite exercises. And I do this with my health coaching clients. I do this with our health coaching students in our cohort. I do this in our Permission for More community. I think it's just a really good exercise to get clear on what it is that we actually want, especially if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're like, I know I do not want to do this anymore, but we don't have a lot of clarity on what we do want to do, right? And we get so tired, and it's very hard for us to pause and just think for 10 minutes even, like, what is it that I want to do? Because at the end of the day, we're just so exhausted. So my challenge for everybody is tonight, after this YouTube live, go through this exercise, set aside 10 minutes and just go through this and write a letter to your future self. And so I think on page 3, there's just a prompt of like, close your eyes. Imagine applying ABA and all the different ways that light you up, right? What does that look like? What are you doing? Who are you surrounded by? What does your day-to-day look like? What drew you to the field? Kind of what we were talking about before. What did you like? What made you want to go to grad school for ABA? What possibilities lit you up? For me, it was always health and wellness. I always had that in my heart, but for you, it might not be that at all. Like, what is your thing that lights you up? And then what would it look like to bring those elements to your practice? And then on the next page, these are just different. This is from Ben Hardy's work. What is his book? Oh my gosh. I think it's called Your Future Self, actually. So this is his steps to creating this future self of kind of things that you can go through. So again, clarify your purpose, eliminate the lesser goals, needing versus wanting, being specific. We know that very well. Automate and systemate, schedule your future self. And then what we were just talking about, Nick, complete imperfect work. Right? We have to be okay with things not being perfectly. We have to be okay with trial and error and trial and error and trial and error, because that is literally how we learn. That is how we're going to keep getting better, is by doing things imperfectly. Coming from someone that used to be a perfectionist, it was very hard, but that's literally just how we learn. We put it out there. Nick, I'm sure your first YouTube live, like, well, I don't know, you're amazing, so maybe it was perfect, but I'm sure the first time you did a YouTube live, there was like glitches and things went wrong, and it's like,
oh no, it was terrible. You're absolutely right. It was so bad. I think I streamed for like half an hour and then realized my microphone like wasn't even working. I'm like, why is nobody here?
Right? It's imperfect. And then you learn and you're like, okay, well, that's not, next time I'm going to do it differently, right? It's no big deal. It's not this end of the world. And then, so on the next page, these just gives you different prompts on what you can go through. So yeah, we did this one. Sorry, can you go to page 6, please? What aspects of the field make you come alive? You might say that you're burnt out right now, and that's fair, right? I would never tell you that you're not burnt out, but like, is there something specific? Like, do you love working with the kids? Do you love working with the adults? But it's like, if I have to write another freaking treatment plan that gets denied by insurance, I'm going to lose it, right? So it's maybe not the whole job that you're in, maybe it's certain parts of the job. And then, okay, the parts that you love, what can you do? How can you do more of that, right? And then write about, again, what is your purpose? What makes you feel electric? What makes you feel excited? What does that look like? And then we have, I think it's the next page. I think we're on, okay, yep. So we made the lesser goals. Start with a future self for the choices you make tonight, right? So every time you say no to work that doesn't let you up inside, you're protecting space for innovation. I'm so big on protecting space. I don't know if you feel this way either too, Nick. Like I am so conscious of my little bubble around me. And if something is not like a hard yes in my life, it's a no. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
all have to figure that out too, of like every time we say yes to something, and this might not be work, right? Maybe your work is your job that you're doing 40 hours a week right now. It's supporting your family. That's what you have to do. What about on the weekends? And you're giving that friend a ride for the millionth time where you really don't want to do it. Like, can you set a hard boundary of like, no, this is my time to reflect and be in the zone and see what my next step is, right? That's kind of another example of protecting your time and protecting your bubble to get you to whatever that next step looks like for you. And then we have okay, so needing to wanting, right? So think about elite athletes. They don't say I want to win, they see themselves winning. So this is like a little bit of visualization. I'm a little bit woo, guys, if you haven't figured that out yet. So I really believe in this of when we can visualize what we want, and we know this from neuroscience. Like this is actually studied and researched on visualization and making it super clear in our mind. Don't ask me about the neuroscience behind it because I can't explain it, but if you look up any sort of neuroscience on visualization, you look at pro athletes that do visualization, because it freaking works, right? So thinking about what you really want and speaking into the universe and the world, but it's actually true, right? And what does that look like different than what you're doing now? And then next, if we get to what is it that exactly that you want? Again, super specific. We know this as behavior analysis. Maybe it's developing some new parent training, parent coaching approaches. Maybe it's blending behavior analysis in a way that someone else hasn't before, right? So what is it? Make it very specific, not help more people, not make a difference. That's vague, right? Kind of what we're talking about before with marketing. You need to get specific about the transformation that you are going to create for clients, whether your client is an organization, whether it's an individual. How are you going to describe that in a clear way? And what are you known for? What do you want to be the go-to person for? Nick's the go-to for exam prep, right? But you got there for a reason because you were super clear about what you wanted to do. So I think that's really important as well. And I don't expect anybody to know these answers right now. Like this took me a long time to go through, but the more that we just sit and get it out, type it, write it, whatever works for your brain, just get in the habit of doing this once a week, once a month. Just keep coming back to this and letting yourself, maybe say like let yourself dream, right? Let yourself think of the most delusional thing possible, because that's how you're going to get to where you want to go, right? Be a little bit delusional and you'll get there if you allow yourself space to get there. Okay, that's one tangent. Step 5.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And like this exercise like definitely brings you through like the right processes that you need to like find your path. So I really like that, like how you've distilled that down. I think it's a great resource for like anybody who's really trying to do that. And yeah, like I had to take a bunch of those same paths too, just like get a little delusional with what my goals are. And like one of my like mantras for this year is just like dream bigger. I'm just like, why not?
Why not? What's the best that can happen?
Exactly. It's like, and like you kind of like conform to like, it's kind of like on that visualization route. And maybe this is like partly like a behavioral explanation behind that, because I don't know the neuroscience either. But like you kind of like conform to like the level and like the standard that you accept for yourself.
100%.
So it's like, okay, well, if I'm okay just like, all right, like every single night watching Netflix and drinking wine, like then that's like the level that you're going to stay at. But if you are like trying to grow as a human and trying to accomplish something amazing, like you need to put your bar at like who you need to become to do that. And anybody is capable of like doing something amazing, but like most people just hold me like this standard of mediocrity for themselves. And
I think that I'm so glad that you said that, because I also think who you surround yourself with is such, I mean, there's a behavior explanation for that too, right? Like
absolutely.
If people, when I first started, I was surrounded by, I mean, behavior analysts and non-behavior analysts that are like, well, it never works. You'll never be able to make a business out of one-to-one health coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just stayed in that environment, it's like kind of toxic, right? If you're in that environment where it's like, it'll never work, it'll never work, it'll never work, well, then of course I'm going to be like, okay, well, it'll never work. So I made myself surround myself with people that weren't behavior analysts, that were doing something that I wanted to do and were actually 10 steps ahead of me. Because not only do I know then that it could work, they're like making way more money than I can make. So if they could do it, why can't I do it? Right. But it's all based on who you surround yourself with. And like you said, the standard. I think that's so, so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, yeah, if you're in a room with people that are like doing so much more than you, like they'll inspire you, and
Yeah.
like you'll like humans are naturally competitive too. And so like I don't know, for like you probably felt this too, because I can tell you're a little bit of a competitive person too, but but like when you're surrounded by people that are just like doing something like so much more, it's just like shit, I want to get to that level. Like I want to like be able to like say like I'm doing something awesome too. So like you
Yeah.
conform to like the level of the room that you're surrounded with too, and that's why you have to
And I
like
think it's
really
cool.
find
Like
a winner.
I love being around women that are like just crushing it in business. Like I literally love that so much because it's like it just shows me what's possible. Like I am
Yeah,
not intimidated by that. I'm like, that is the freaking coolest thing ever. I'm so inspired by that.
yeah. Like I
How
would
do
just
I
want to
get to
learn
where
from
they
you.
are?
Like let me pick your brain.
Yes, yes, yeah. And I think like again, we can all inspire each other and show each other what is possible and how to get to whatever it is your end goal is for yourself.
For sure, for sure. I love it, love it, love it. And again, anybody who wants to get access to that tool, I'd highly recommend going through it, because it's a really awesome tool. It's in the description right below this video, so you just click on that and you'll be good to go. I'm looking at our Q&As. It looks like you guys have like submitted a lot of questions already. Should we start picking out some of those, Sarah?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Well, let's see. We've got Faye is asking, if you want to get into a different field from working with clients with autism, what sequence of steps would you recommend to get that first position in the new field, and like what sequence that we followed? So I think we hit on this a little bit already, but you want to give Faye like a short and sweet answer for that one?
Yeah, so I think decide entrepreneurial or work for an organization, right? Entrepreneur is one whole tangent, but if you want to work for another organization, just start playing around on LinkedIn. 10 minutes a day, go on LinkedIn and just type in behavior change or behavior specialist or data driven behavior. Just play around with those keywords and see what's out there. Again, it might not say BCBA in the job description. That is okay. It does not mean that your school is a waste. It doesn't mean that your knowledge is a waste. And I would really probably actually encourage those positions, because if you actually look at the job description, I am so confident that that job description is going to be what a behavior analyst does. It just doesn't say behavior analyst in that description.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, just like getting those right keywords down, spending some time on LinkedIn and Indeed. I hate LinkedIn. That site scares me, but but if this is the route that you're trying to go, suck it up and go for it.
I was gonna say the next live we should just go through LinkedIn. Everyone name the job. We'll go on LinkedIn and help people find jobs.
That would be fun for sure. It'd be cool if we like brought people on stream next time too. Just
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Like, maybe have like 3 people and be like, hey, let's figure out your path.
Yes. Yes.
All right, we've got another one here, anonymous. I've been wanting to see BCBAs in sports psychology or more of a focus on ABA in esports. Is there anything to get you on that path, or is that not possible right now? Any idea there? I'll touch on the esports stuff because I'm a little bit of a gamer. I can hit on that.
And doesn't FIT have like a big esports lab?
I don't know. I know like Western Michigan University, where I went to school, they ended up creating a big esports lab after or I don't know if it's a lab, but they have like an esports team and everything. Are you saying they have like they do research at their esports lab?
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure.
That's cool. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure FIT has a in-person like lab. I guess that's what you call it. That does esports.
Yeah, heck yeah. But yeah, any advice for that person?
Well, esports is not my area of expertise, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
fitness for sure.
Yeah. So they also wanted to know about sports psychology. Like, do you have any tidbits for them there?
Yeah, I think even looking into different, look at high school, college, look for those positions that are opening and see what they're available for, because a lot of, I mean, I would say most college universities are, I have like a sports psychologist on staff. Actually, my friend, um, one of my friend's friends, she came to one of our groups once, and she does performance coaching essentially, right? And she's not a BCBA, but she has all that background, and that's what she does. And so she does that for what's it called? Minor league baseball teams.
Oh, cool.
So those, again, those positions are out there. So I would just look at high schools in your area, colleges in your area, minor league sports. I think that's what it's called. So like all the different sports, and see, even if that position is there, but it's not hiring, I introduce myself to everybody. Literally anybody, have no shame. I would just introduce yourself to that person and say, hey, I think what you're doing is really cool. That's something I would love to do. If there's any way that I could ever shadow you or come intern or do X, Y, or Z, like I have no shame in just reaching out to people. You never know when a position might come up, or they might hear of a position somewhere else where they're like, oh, actually this person came and they interned and they were awesome and they did really good, and maybe they could recommend you. So like, just put yourself out there as well, is my recommendation.
Yeah, I like that. Just like the courage to put yourself out there, and you can also just like learn some of these techniques on your own, and then like attempt to practice them, and like do it at like a low stakes setting. So it might be like, oh, the local high school football team that you're like trying out your sports psychology tactics with. But if you document it pretty well, then like you can start building like that resume of credibility, and like eventually be able to work yourself into higher positions, like you become successful at that. So but I love that. Just like kind
I'm
of
sure you
taking
could
a
apply
leap.
for grants, right? Like in college, there's so much money that schools have to spend, but on certain things, at least when I worked in school, they have budgets for certain things. I can't word that better, but like certain reasons. I'm sure colleges are the same. Like, apply for a grant and see where that takes you, and that could potentially create a position.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, like for like anybody listening here, and you're like, especially if you're kind of like tripping yourself up, and just like, okay, well, here's like ideas, but I don't really like know what I should do. Like, you kind of just have to suck it up, and you can just do things. Like, you don't need permission from anybody. Like, you can just learn how to do things, and try it and see how it works, fail and learn, but just keep moving and doing things. And eventually, like, you'll find the things that click, and like there'll be lessons in every failure, and yeah, like you don't need permission from anybody. Like, just try it and go.
Yeah, fail forward. That's all you got to do, is keep failing forward.
For sure. I like that, failing forward.
Yeah,
it's the perfect. All right, what else we got here? Oh yeah, somebody's asking, Sarah, is there a way to set up a one-on-one conference with you?
Yes. I don't even know how to get my link, but yes. Instagram. Is my Instagram on the YouTube? On YouTube.
We can throw it on there.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to tell everybody like your tag, that might be helpful too.
My Instagram tag's easy. It's just at Sarah Burby. So I respond the most on Instagram, or you could always email me. My email is just Sarah at Mind Body Behavior LLC. So email me or send me a message on Instagram, and we can definitely chat, set that up.
Sweet. And yeah, even if you're like just like on the fence about if you should probably just reach out to her, because she's awesome. Love it. All right, what else we got here? How would you start to implement ACT in practice? I'm not like the like the most familiar person with ACT, but what advice would you have for this person?
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
I know, I love it, but I just don't know enough about it yet.
Yeah, so much. There's so many ways that you could utilize ACT to help, right? So do you want to use it for adults with a diagnosis, without a diagnosis? Do you want to work with children, middle school students, high school students? Maybe it's on anxiety, test anxiety. That's a big one. Or college prep anxiety. Like, think about what you want to utilize it for, and then niche it down even more than that. So like act for anxiety, okay, kind of good. Act for anxiety regarding test prep, act for anxiety regarding whatever it is, like try to niche it down more. I use act all the time in my health and wellness coaching. You could do it. Oh my gosh, what is the book? AIM, the AIM curriculum. You could implement the AIM curriculum. You could use ACT with teachers. You could use ACT with paraprofessionals, ACT with RBTs. So there's so much that you could do. The ACBS is also a great resource, acbs.com. It's very, very reasonable to be a member there, and it's an amazing community. I think it's like $30 a year or something. I might have just randomly made that up, but it's really cheap. It's less than $100 a year, and there's really cool things that the ACT community is doing on there, so you can get some ideas and inspiration from that. But you can do like almost counseling, right? I mean, you can't call yourself a counselor, but really like my act-based coaching is kind of counseling. Like we're peeling back and peeling back and peeling back. I don't work with like a specific diagnosis because that's outside of my scope, but we're getting pretty deep in the coaching space and utilizing a lot of that acceptance and that values clarification and the committed actions and things like that. So there's such a need for that. I mean, I feel like especially now, social media, middle school students, everyone's on social media. Anxiety is through the roof because of social media. Like there's a whole market for that. Yeah, the world needs ACT.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like that is just becoming like one of the more like general skills that is like becoming like incredibly valuable because of just how widely applicable it is. Like there's so many studies on ACT just being effective with pretty much like any disorder, like any like psychological issue.
Yeah.
So like definitely get on that, especially if like you're early in your practice and or even if you're not like early BCBA and like you're just trying to branch off to do something new. ACT is like so generalizable to so many different situations that I would highly recommend picking up.
I got all my ACT books right here. I got 20 of them in my office.
Nice, nice. And like what we were talking about earlier is that like if you don't currently have this skill set but you're interested in it, it's worth paying for like some coaching or even like some workshops or some lessons on like how to implement this more effectively. So like spending more on education is like always going to be worth it, especially like if you want to like make this your next direction in passion. Like I mean, I know like Sarah, you provide coaching, but like, I mean, even like for people at like our level, like I have two coaches. Like I pay for coaching and like I still need like a lot of I have a lot of learning to do and it just never really stops. But like, is that similar for you as well? Like, do you have coaches?
I spend the most money per year, and this is not an exaggeration, on coaches and mentorship. I just keep reinvesting. It's an investment. That's what it is. And like the first coaching call that I had with my mentor now that I seeked out after a really bad mentorship was $2,000 for one single hour, Nick. I was broke AF. And I was like, here's my credit card, right? Like we were on my husband's income, newborn child, but like I just knew again that person was going to take me from point A to I just did a podcast on this actually of like she was going to give me all the skills. She was going to pour into me, and then it was up to me to implement, right? And that's why I wanted her, because I knew she was going to give me the skills, and I had to implement from that point. So I always pay in mentorship and continuing to learn, continue to grow, because number one, I just want to learn more from the science perspective. But as far as mentorship goes, it's like I see mentorship as getting me to where I want to go faster. Like, could I probably figure it out on my own? Yeah. But if I could figure out on my own in 5 years and my mentor can help me figure it out in 6 months, then that just closed a huge gap, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really great point. It's just like that speed to learning the skills. Like, yeah, you can just fail a million times and learn them, but why not just pay the person who already did the failing and has learned the right lessons, and you can cut that like window down from okay, it's going to take me 3 years to do this to like, hey, I can do this in a few months. It's like always worth the money. And especially like if you're like getting some traction with your business. So this would be like more like the like middle stages of entrepreneurship or you're seeing some success, like it's definitely worth that investment to just like keep paying for more skills because they will compound and like make you so much stronger.
Yeah. And I also have a personal coach for like my mindset and stuff like that, right? I got coaches everywhere, business, personal, all the things.
Absolutely, for sure. um we have a question like what would you say to like help a person figure out like what direction if you have multiple interests in various fields? This is
Ooh.
I kind of want to hit on this one first
Go
because
ahead. Yes,
I have a
please
strong
do.
opinion. Like the thing is like if you really want to be good at something, you really just like need to narrow it down. And it doesn't mean like you like don't have to engage in like those other things at all or like don't enjoy those things at all, but especially like in business, like you need to have a really like narrow focus and be really good at it. It's like what gives you the biggest leverage. And like I get people that come to me like all the time just like, when's like understanding behavior gonna do CEUs? I'm like, no, we're not. Like we do test prep. That's it. um, and they're like, oh, when are you gonna do this and that and that? I'm like, if I like diversified my pockets so much, then I would be like worse at all of them. Is the thing. So like
Totally.
I think like you just have to pick one and either pick the one that like is going to be like the most fun or that you see is like the biggest problem that you can solve. And again, it's not like you have to like completely ignore all of your other interests, but as far as a career, focusing on one has so many benefits.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's even with the coaching space, right? It's like, well, is it hard to make money in the health coaching space? Or are you just saying, like, I'm a health coach that focuses on long term behavior change? Boring. Nobody knows what that is. Nobody knows what you actually help. Nobody actually knows the problem that you solve. If you can niche it down to, I help women that have this specific autoimmune disease, or I help burnt out teachers who have been teaching 5 or more years. Like that is specific. That's niche
Mm-hmm.
down. Then people are going to be like, oh, I want to go to Sarah for this particular problem versus I'm a health coach who helps everybody. And I say this because this was a lesson that took me a long. Do you know how much money I spent for people to tell me the same thing and I would not listen? And when I finally listened, I was like, oh, shocking. All these people are right. Like the more narrow that you are in the beginning, it's so much better.
Yeah, for sure. So we just saved you guys 10 grand in coaching lessons. So you're
Literally.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. We are still taking some questions. So if you go to the link in the description or scan the QR code, we'll be taking a few more questions. Feel free to submit them. Yeah, I'm looking at what else we got here. Do you have that list up too, Sarah?
I had it up, but then I was hearing an echo, so I just closed out of it.
Oh, okay. Word. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh yeah, somebody is asking Sarah, what does your day-to-day look like as a health and wellness coach as a BCBA? Because this person's interested in that path as well.
Oh, I love this so much. So right now, my day-to-day is a mix of one-to-one coaching, small group coaching, teaching in our health coaching program, providing supervision outside of autism, and then doing like consultations for either ABA companies, like CEU type trainings, or just one-off like wellness presentations. So that's my day-to-day now. I have curated it that way because that's how I want it to look, because I get bored very easily and I don't like having the same thing day in and day out. When I first started, I was doing one-to-one coaching and I was also doing after school programs. So I would do after school enrichment programs. Again, an idea that I would take to school districts and say, hey, this is the idea that I have. This is where I see a gap missing in the after school enrichment programs. So I would do those. And I would also do enrichment programs at like local YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs. So I always did one-to-one coaching, but I did something in addition to that to like build up my revenue. I also taught bar at the time when I was first starting out. So I did one-to-one coaching, taught bar, and did enrichment programs. But right now, my day-to-day, I usually have between say like 4 to 6 one-to-one clients a month. And then between that, teaching our course, supervision, and then the one-off like trainings and stuff, and like kind of group consultation and like small group coaching is the day-to-day. I also don't work that many hours. I know that's going to sound a little bit weird, but like I get to choose my own schedule of when I want to work, and I take my son to school every day. I drop him off at 9. I pick him up at 3 o'clock every day. We spend the afternoon together, and then I have my own hours, which I guess is a good thing or a bad thing. But I like to work. I'll like go on my computer a little bit when my husband gets home. I'll go on my computer a little bit if I have stuff to do when he goes to bed. But again, that schedule is designed around the life that I want for my family right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like one of the cool parts of just like the later stages of entrepreneurship is like you don't necessarily always have to work like a full 40-hour week or higher.
So don't get me wrong. There's many weeks where I do work more than 40 hours. So I don't want to paint a beautiful picture that I'm never not working like that.
Absolutely, on the week. Yeah, like I always have like seasons where I'm like going really hard and just like, okay, like we have like ton of projects, we need to get this done, and like working like 40, 60 hours. And then other seasons are just like more chill, or just like, hey, I can like take some time to go ski, or take some time to go like with my paraglider, or hang out with my friends, or whatever. So it is a balance, and it's also like a challenge as like being an entrepreneur too. It's just like, you know, you're always having the back of your head, it's like if you did do more, like we could like progress farther faster. But I think a lot of that is just like finding like going back to like what is the lifestyle that you want, and how do you find like that balance, and like yeah,
I think it ebb and flows too, right? Like different stages personally are it might ebb and flow. I was just going to say something too. Oh, about other things that you can do. I just started hosting in-person retreats. We have our first in-person retreat in 3 weeks. I think I was telling you earlier, Nick, like that's not necessarily behavior analytic. Like, and nothing about that retreat is behavior analytic in nature. BCBAs are coming to that retreat because they want to get away and they want to relax and unwind. But that's an example of something that I do that I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about in-person events. I love being in person. I think this is wonderful because we can reach so many people, but there's just something that I love about being in person. So like, that's something that I loved. And when I was like journaling and figure out what I liked, I'm like, okay, how do I get more in-person events? So again,
it doesn't always have to be such a different level.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be. I don't always have my behavior BCBA hat on, right? I can do things for my business. Like, I guess it's like components of my business. What am I trying to say? Other parts of my business that are not necessarily behavior. Like I'm not advertising it as like a BCBA CEU retreat. It's just like, hey, we're having a retreat where we can come and take our hats off and be human. And so just know, I think sometimes like that's something that we maybe get nervous about, or like, can I do this? Can I not do that? It's like, well, how are you advertising yourself? And that's really what matters.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good point. It's just like, just because you are a BCBA doesn't mean like every avenue that you make money needs to be like, yeah, I'm doing BCBA stuff. Like you can do other things that like would interest people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be behavior analytic at all.
Yeah.
We had another good question. So this person's asking, if I decide to go another route as a BCBA, would the pay differ? And they were expanded. I'm assuming since billable hours generate revenue for the ABA company, that you would probably get paid more there. Do you want to hit on this one a little bit, Sarah?
Yes, I love this question because I have a lot of opinions on this question. And I think, yes, if you are working in a non-traditional setting, you probably will get paid less on the surface. But I think there's a lot of things to consider. I hope that I'm wrong, but I would argue if your salary, not the person asked the question, in general, an average BCBA salary, what is like $90,000 a year, maybe 80,000? I don't actually know the answer to that.
Yeah, probably about 80 to 90. It depends like first year versus like later, but I'd say about 80, 85. Let's say 85.
Okay, 85. And math's not my strong suit, so please nobody ask me to do math on this live. But if we divided that by 40 hours a week and we looked at the hourly rate, right? And then I hope that I'm wrong, but my guess is that a lot of BCBAs are actually working more than 40 hours, even though they're only getting paid for 40 hours. And my guess would be a lot of people are working on the weekends. And my guess would be a lot of people are having wear and tear in their car where they're driving different places and paying tolls and this and that. So I do think I will 100% say that, yes, it would be a pay cut. And obviously that is only a decision that would make sense for your personal life and your family's life. And that would be something that you would ultimately decide. But I think sometimes we think a pay cut is not as big of a pay cut as we think it is, if I'm wording that correctly.
Or like it doesn't hurt as much as you think it would.
Yeah, I think so. And like, I mean, I took a pay cut when I started, obviously starting a business, but I think like the difference, I think number one, you could work for a non-traditional company, take a pay cut, and then, okay, but is your quality of life better, right? Are you actually at the end of the day at 5 o'clock signing off and leaving and being able to do the rest of your day? Maybe you do that and then you pick up another side gig that's maybe a BCBA job, maybe it's not a BCBA job, but you just dabble in something else to see if you like it or not, where you don't want to quit your full-time job with your benefits and your salary and everything like that. But that could be a good opportunity to like kind of get your feet wet in these different things to see what you like and don't like. And is it worth, do I want to quit this and pursue this other option? Or do I actually hate this? And I'm so glad I didn't quit my job and go all in on this. So it might be nice to just play around and explore other options. But yeah, I don't think that a job that, well, I don't know. I've seen health coaching jobs anywhere from 60,000 a year to 100,000 a year. So it's so many factors that go into it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely like depends on the type of work that you want to do. And like some of those jobs are going to pay more, some of those jobs are going to pay less. Like I know somebody who like just picked up, like he's like lead trainer at like a chemicals company, and it's like a massive company with like thousands of employees, and like I'm sure he's making way more than like he would have been or that he was in his previous career,
Yeah.
just doing that like kind of training. So I think it really, again, it just really depends on like the type of work that you want to do. But I really like your point here, Sarah, too, is just like, even if it is like a 20K pay cut, if your quality of life is like 3 times better, then that 20K is not going to feel like anything.
Yeah. You take out taxes, you take out quality of life. Like at the end of the day, it might not be as much as you think it is.
Yeah, for sure. And so yeah, if you are unhappy in your position, like I would just explore new options and think about like what lights you up, and like what problems can you solve, and ways to do it, because like once you get going on it, the transition might not be as scary, the pay cut like might not be felt as hard as you think it would. So just go for it, take a risk, and see how it feels.
This is not Sarah and Nick saying go quit your job, by the way. We're not taking any blame for this.
Disclaimer. I usually am the one who's just like encouraging all my friends to like quit their jobs. Like, no, just go do your own thing. Like, it sucks. Cody's smiling over here. He's running the stream, just like, yeah, that's so on point. But so maybe I am telling you to quit your job. But Sarah's not. We'll make that clear. Anyway, I think that's most of our questions. Yeah, this has been really fun, guys. Have you guys been enjoying the stream? But anyway, like, do you have like any like parting thoughts for our people, and let them know again like where they can find you?
Yes. Follow me on Instagram. It's Sarah Burby. I'm doing a free masterclass actually next Wednesday, from comparison to confident action. If anybody's thinking about being confident and going and taking risks, if anybody wants to come to that, please do. It's next Wednesday, April 1st. Yeah, hang out on Instagram a lot. I'm really good at checking my DMs. Follow me on Instagram. I can tell you about our health coaching program. I can tell you about our Permission for More community. It's business coaching. It's mindset coaching, all within that community. Or honestly, like I said, I'll just hype you up and give you a good pep talk, and we can just connect on Instagram. So I would love to chat more with anybody that just has questions or wants to brainstorm or troubleshoot, I'll send you a 5-minute voice note. I'm known for rambling. I've probably sent you some, Nick, before. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, actually, my point was this. So, but yeah, follow me on Instagram, Sarah Burby, and let's chat.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. Well, it was so great to have you on, Sarah. And hope it looks like our audience did enjoy the stream a lot. So
Yay!
that's great to hear. Hopefully we inspired at least a couple people here to be bold and like do something different. And especially like if you're unhappy in what you're doing right now, like it's worth the risk. It's worth exploring, and like don't get stuck. Just keep moving.
Yeah. Don't get
But
stuck. It's not worth your mental health. It's not worth your physical health. Stress is really bad for your body. If you're chronically in that fight or flight state, it's really, really bad. It's not worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're struggling with any of those things, go find Sarah on Instagram. I can attest she is very quick on her DMs too, so she will get back to you. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me on this. This was so fun.
This was amazing. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. All right, folks. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks again for coming to the stream.
Bye, everyone.
On Thursday, we are doing experimental design part 3. So if you're still prepping for your tests, come to that. It's going to be super fun. And hit up Sarah because she's awesome. And thanks everybody for being here. And I'm yeah, glad to see the chat that you guys are feeling a little bit inspired about finding a new direction. And hopefully we gave you some tools to get started on that. And if you want any more assistance on that journey, Sarah's got you.
Yay. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night and catch you at the next one.